Like Hull, Edward Chance Tolman espouses the use of intervening variables in the explanation of behavior. However, he differs from Hull in that he supposes animals have internal states. For instance, expectations and representations. In his 1932 book, Purposive Behavior in Animals and Men, he argues that rats learn how to negotiate his radial mazes in virtue of their developing a cognitive map of the maze. Likewise, he shows that learning can occur without reward or punishment, thereby giving you instances of learning that operant conditioning cannot easily explain. This animated superposition of mazes depicts a typical setup for one of Hull's maze experiments. There's a training maze, and then there's a test maze. The rat would learn the straightforward maze that has that little diagonal loop around to the area where it gets its reward, and then the rat would be put into this novel radial maze. Now, the probability that the rat would go down a particular arm of the radial maze is essentially zero. The one that it's used to going down has been blocked off, and so now the question is there anything that isn't random about its choice in the arm of the maze it goes down? And as it turns out, yes, what Tolman found was that the rats will go down the arms of the maze in the radial maze that are in the general direction of wherever the actual goal is. Even if they had to wind around a bit to get to the goal in the original maze, the area where it was, the direction in which it goes, the rat is much more likely to explore those arms of the new radial maze first. So as we look at both the research on learning and the different iterations of behaviorism, what we see is that difficulties relying upon introspection and trying to explain conscious aspects of mentation result in very little progress being made. Once psychologists attend to features of mental behaviors that they can easily operationalize, and once they start using statistics to help analyze their raw data and reveal patterns in the variability, they are again able to start making progress. And in fact, the memory data from Ebbinghaus and Thorndike, as well as the conditioning data and learning data from the behaviorists, is all considered to be accurate results. In fact, the mechanisms that underlie classical and operant conditioning in the nervous system in human beings and other vertebrates have been located and explored. And so, as a result, we see that there is a purchase gained again on the phenomenon. We are capable of formulating dynamical theories relating variables that are operationalized again. However, because behavior, particularly behavior of vertebrates and humans, is so variable, there's so much adaptive and differential performance. In order to really start explaining more behavior, even the behaviorists are driven towards trying to determine ways to push their explanatory paradigms inside the skull. Even if it's not looking at conscious mental phenomenon, they want somehow to be able to get at intervening variables that help to explain the differential responses that they see in organisms.